Warning: this podcast may be disturbing to some listeners. Due to the graphic nature, listener discretion is advised.
Keep the demon inside me. Keep the demon inside me. Keep the demon inside me.
Welcome from wherever you are. This is The Demon Inside with your host, John Venom. If you want to review a different episode of The Demon Inside, you can find them on Spotify or Anchor. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. A new episode will come out every Monday. And now to our show.
Keep the demon inside me.
We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. And welcome back to The Demon Inside. Hello, my Demon Insiders, and welcome back to The Demon Inside. This is part 2 of the Jeffrey Dahmer case. And today we're going to be listening to Tracy Edwards, who was the final survivor, or the only survivor, of Jeffrey Dahmer. And what I did was I cut up pieces from his trial to emphasize where you would find the demon inside on this, because the prosecutor or the defense attorney that's talking to him, he actually keeps asking about Jeffrey Dahmer's demeanor, and I don't know if they were trying to do like a plea for insanity, but the thing is that the more you listen to it and the more that he's talking about how he was acting and what he was doing, it doesn't sound so much as a psych evaluation. It sounds more like a demon possession. And you'll hear different things that Jeffrey Dahmer did, even chanting at one point. But let's get into it from the beginning, where Tracy Edwards meets Jeffrey Dahmer and they go back to Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
So you're sitting on the couch, he brings you a beer and rum and coke, what happens?
Okay, then we just study talking and everything, you know.
General talk?
General talk.
What happens?
Yeah, then I was just, I don't know, getting a little agitated maybe, you know, because of the smell and things. And then he threw my conversation off talking about the fish in the fish tank, you know.
So at this point, Jeffrey Dahmer has a decision to make. He can either continue on the path that he's going, or he can stop and let this guy go. But what happens is this guy starts complaining about the smell and saying that he might want to leave. This, for Dahmer, is the trigger. He doesn't want him to leave. So he continues in his path.
Okay, when you start talking about the fish in the fish tank, do you bring that up or does he?
He does.
And what do you do when he does that?
I turn to the right, like the fish tank is here, I'm turning all the way over here.
You turn to your right to look at it?
To look at the fish tank, right.
And when that happens, what happens to you?
All of a sudden a handcuff and a knife is pulled on me. Yeah.
What was going through your mind the moment that happened, when you realized you had a knife at your side and a handcuff on your hand? What did you think?
I think, like, you know, what's going on, you know? This guy's so nice, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like he's pulling knives and handcuffs and all on me, you know?
What'd you do? What'd you say to him?
I asked him what the problem was, you know, that it's not necessary to do this, you know?
What'd he say?
He told me at that point if I wouldn't do what he said, he would kill me, yeah?
Now, tell us about his demeanor at the time that you look at him and you say, what's going on? You don't have to do this. What happens to Mr. Dahmer? What's he like?
It's like not the same person that we met at Grand Avenue Mall.
How does he different?
His face structure seemed different, you know. His body structure is like it wasn't him anymore, you know. It's like it was a totally different guy there.
Now this is very interesting because Tracy Edwards says that this was not the same guy, which he's talking about Dahmer. He says that his facial structure was different and his physical appearance was different. So this is a big shock to Tracy Edwards, because this was Jeffrey Dahmer, who he had just met with friends, and he was saying that this guy was a super nice guy, trusted him enough to go to his apartment with him, thought that his friends would meet him at the apartment, even though Jeffrey Dahmer, they found out later, gave the wrong address to his friends. But this guy trusted him so much that even when he had a knife to him and he had the handcuff on him, he still goes to the bedroom thinking that Jeffrey is actually going to get the key for the handcuff and let him go.
Best you can
And
remember.
then all of a sudden he kind of calms down, you know, and then he said he has a key in the bedroom, so we proceed to the bedroom.
The key to the handcuffs.
Right.
So you believed he was going to take them off?
Yeah, at that point I had to go along with this guy, you know, and then if I had to find out, so I walked back there with him. He kind of guides me back there. Yeah,
Guides you back with the cuff and the knife?
yeah, right.
And you go into the bedroom.
Right.
What do you see in the bedroom?
A big, about 50, 60 gallon drum barrel, whatever.
Do you ever see a 50, 60 drum barrel in anybody's bedroom
No.
before?
Not at all.
Do you have any idea? Did you ask him what it was?
No, at that point I asked no questions at that time.
Was there a bed in that room?
Yes.
How was the bed? Was it made, unmade? What did
It was unmade.
what did you see on the bed, if anything?
Something like a stain or whatever, on the bed.
What did you think it was?
At that point in time, I wasn't sure.
What did you do when you got in the bedroom as he's holding on to the cuff and the knife? What did you do?
Studied us talking, trying to be friends with him, you know.
Did you remain standing? Did you sit down?
He made me sit down at that point. We both sit on the bed.
Was it at the foot of the bed, side of the bed, head of the bed?
Maybe halfway between.
Did that room have a TV set in it?
Yes.
Was there anything going on the TV?
Yeah, the Exorcist movies was playing at that time.
There was an Exorcist movie on.
Yeah.
Do you know which one of them?
The name, I'm not sure. I think it's 3. I'm not sure which one.
So there was a movie. Did you know it to be part of television or VCR?
VCR, normally that's not on regular television, so I thought it was VCR.
You knew there was a movie showing.
Right.
Did you see him put it on, or was it on?
No. When we first got into the apartment, he went through the back to the back bedroom. Maybe he put it on then. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then what happened? You're both sitting on the bed?
Yes.
Are you still in handcuffs?
Yes.
Is he holding the handcuff?
Right.
Do you still have the knife?
Right.
Is it pointed at your side, as you've told us before?
Right.
You trying to be cool?
Very much so.
You're not fighting with him?
No. Not
What's
at
your intention? What are you planning on doing?
all. Getting away, I was contemplating on at the point jumping out the window. Yep. I was basically talking with this person, trying to let him know I was his friend. Yeah.
As you were sitting there on the bed, when he had you by the handcuff and a knife at your side, at that time, which would have been maybe 7 o'clock,
Something like that.
what impression was made upon your mind by the conduct, action, manner, expression, and conversation that you observed of Mr. Dahmer?
His frame of mind is what you want to know, right? Okay, he acted. At times he would go through like different changes with me, you know.
Tell us about that.
One minute he's like nice, then he was telling he didn't want people to leave him or abandon him, things of this nature, you know. Yeah.
Well, what did you think about him as a person? What impression was made on your mind of this fellow that you're dealing with here?
Yeah. That at times he wasn't himself, and then at times he was like a nice guy, you know. He would come and go different times, you know, throughout the whole time. Then he would like sit, being quiet at times, watching the movie, wanting me to watch the movie, you know, and just doing little chanting sounds, you know.
Did you observe him watching the movie and how he would react to the movie?
Right, he would like just start rocking back and forth when he, you know, certain parts of the movie or whatever.
And you have to say, what did he say, madam?
He was like chanting at certain times and rocking back and forth, right?
Tell us about his chanting. What was that all about?
I'm not even sure, sir, but it was just like, I can't tell you the words. I couldn't understand what he was saying at that time.
Can you mimic him? How it sounded?
It was like a slow slur, like, some of that nature, some close like that, I'm not sure.
So Dahmer, while having Tracy Edwards on his bed, they're watching The Exorcist 3. And The Exorcist 3 is about Legion, which actually comes out in the Bible. I know a lot of films use the Legion character, but what Legion really is a lot of demons in one host. The demons usually, as soon as one gets acknowledged, they invite others in. As a demon or even a ghost or anything like that, if you allow one in, they have control of the body, they have control of the house. They're allowed to let anything else in. So even if you think, well, I didn't allow anything in, I didn't say yes to Satan, you might not have said yes to Satan, but you did say yes to a lesser demon who allowed Satan in. So on The Exorcist 3, for those of you that haven't seen it, it's a continuation of the first one. It really doesn't have anything to do with the second Exorcist. If you've seen the first one, you know that the little girl was possessed, and the demon that was inside the little girl was called the Master. And the Master, being taken out of the little girl, is very angry about it. And he wants to avenge or do revenge on the people that got him out. And at the same time that they're taking out this demon from the little girl, there's a serial killer called the Gemini Killer. And the Gemini Killer is put to death at that exact time. And so the Master actually takes the Gemini Killer's soul and puts it into the priest from the first movie, which is Father Damien. And so, being that it took 17 years for this entity to actually come out, to form inside of the priest, then it starts exacting as revenge. And it was written by a book by William Blakely, and it was called Legion. And again, Legion is one of many demons inside one person, and this is who Dahmer was focusing on when he was killing these people. He was thinking of himself as Legion or the Gemini Killer. Either way, he was thinking of himself as a demon. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors. And welcome back to The Demon Inside.
Did it keep on for a period of time?
Off and on throughout the ordeal.
And how about the movement back and forth? How was that being effectuated?
Just like back and forth, he would do it every now and then. You know?
Just as you are rocking in your chair.
Like this.
And chanting.
And chanting.
Was there any parts of the movie that was going on that you saw that he said anything about?
It was like the part about the preacher that used to be a preacher that had got possessed, and that it would seem like he was like interested in that part. That part had his attention more than anything. You know?
So tell us about what you mean by that. What impressions were made upon your mind when this was going on as to had his attention? How did he appear to you?
It appeared like it was like he wanted to mimic it or be like that part, you know, being demonized or whatever in that nature.
I'm sorry, I missed you.
Yeah, like he wanted that type of movie, that part, certain parts of that part interested him. You know, it was like he changed with it at times. Then he would get more aggressive, try to get me to handcuff myself, both hands, and he's told me it made him feel more dominant.
So again, this is Dahmer portraying himself as a demon, and it's kind of hard to imagine. So think of it as a child who is looking at, let's say, a karate cartoon, and he sees that this karate cartoon, you know, the hero saves everybody. So the kid wants to be this hero, and he starts doing karate. This is the same thing Jeffrey Dahmer was doing, except Jeffrey Dahmer wanted to be possessed, wanted to be a demon. That's why he was chanting. That's why his formation was changing. he was becoming something else.
Okay, did you and he move off of the bed at any time?
Yes, he wanted me to lay flat down, stomach down on the floor at that time.
Did you at any time go to the bathroom, use the washroom, prior to the time that he asked you to lay down on the floor?
No.
All right, tell us what happened how did that happen, that he told you to lay down on the floor?
You know, he told me to lay down face down, put both of my hands behind my back, because he changed again at that point, like he got more aggressive at that time.
Okay, now, but tell us, did he still have the knife out?
Yes, he still had the knife with him.
And what did you do?
Okay, I kind of like laid on my sides. For some reason, I guess God told me not to lay flat down or let this person handcuff me, so I didn't.
So I find this more interesting is because we're always talking about the demon inside, and right now Jeffrey Dahmer has that demon, and there's probably a whole bunch of demons in that room with them. But out of all of that, Tracy Edwards says that God told him, or God made him not lay down on the floor. In all that evil, there's still goodness. And it's there in that room with Tracy Edwards.
So you were trying to stop that from happening, but you got down on the floor.
Right.
What did he do?
He kind of laid across me, put his head across my chest at that point.
What was he doing with his head?
Pardon me?
What did it appear to you he was doing with his head? What was he trying to do?
Like he was listening to my heart, because at a point he told me he was going to eat my heart at that point.
He said he was going to eat your heart?
Yes, that's correct.
Did he still have the knife?
Yeah.
Where was the knife pointed?
When I was on the floor, he had it pointed at my groin area at that time.
One knife?
He had several, and then he slid one. I managed to slide one underneath the bed. And I guess during a point of time, through an ordeal, he didn't know where the knife was, so I didn't know if he felt that was a threat or not.
So he still had a knife, you're on the floor. How long does he lay on top of you trying to hear your heart as you've described it?
Maybe a minute and a half.
And then what did you do then?
I knew something was about to happen, so I suggested that I go to the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom at that time.
And what did he do?
He kind of guided me to the bathroom.
Tracy Edwards was doing an amazing job of keeping Dahmer at peace and as much as he could. And he knew and he felt deep inside that something was going to happen. And he knew that he was going to have to play out this role until he could either escape or, God forbid, he was going to die.
So now you leave the bathroom and what happens?
Okay, then we go back into the bedroom. You know, it was like different time spans. We were talking about him losing his job. Then he would come to the person that I was first with, and then at certain points he would change. At first he was telling me about how people didn't care for him and things of this nature, and I was trying to comfort him, letting him know that I was a friend, that I wasn't going to try to run away from him or nothing like that.
You were being cool.
I guess God, you can say that, because I had no control. I don't know.
Did this continue on for a long period of time during the night?
Yes, apparently so. Time seemed to, I don't know. But I stayed in there that long, so it had to be going on throughout the whole ordeal, which it was. So time it happened like that.
And all this time you're trying to hold him down?
Yeah, certain points, right.
How often would he go in and out of these moods?
Sir, the time spans I couldn't really tell you, but he would I guess if you want to put it together in time, every 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, and then he would have moods of being just silent, and I wouldn't say anything, try to provoke him or say the wrong thing. I would be silent with him.
So you just let him be alone. Was that movie on the whole time, a long time?
It was on a pretty good period of time, and when it went off, I couldn't tell you.
Did he continue to chant from time to time?
Yes, it happened several times throughout the ordeal.
Now, when he would watch the movie, did you notice when he would go into this thing that you told us where he would really become fixed on the movie screen? What was happening? How often would that happen?
throughout the movie, maybe every 15 or 20 minutes, and then he would turn around and try to ask me to put both of my hands behind my back, and I wouldn't, do it. I would talk to him. I tell him, you can trust me, you don't have to do this, and that would calm him down a little bit.
So you had the knife the whole time.
Right.
He's watching the movie, and he becomes very interested in the movie.
Right.
You don't do anything, just sit there.
Just sit there and be quiet.
And then he would start conversation with you again.
Yeah, he was like you're going to have to do this and that, Then he told me at a point I was going to have to kill him, or he was going to have to kill me at one point.
Were you and he drinking during this time?
No.
So he wasn't running out, bringing you out and getting beers and coming back?
No, I would have been out the window at that point.
Sure.
He would have.
Did he, when he was fixed, I'm trying to get some words to understand, was he intoxicated?
He had been drinking, but as far as being intoxicated, he was not staggering or anything of that nature.
But you know that some people, when they have too much to drink, change their moods. Was that the kind of mood changes he was having, or a different kind of mood change?
I think this was like more of an inner mood change than an alcoholic mood change.
What kind of mood?
It's like
inner mood?
Yeah, person change, not alcohol change.
So the attorney is asking whether he was intoxicated or not. This is something that I've discussed before, where people think they're on bath salts, or they're intoxicated, or they're on drugs. And finally, this is a witness that was there that is telling you he was not intoxicated. He changed on his own, and he was changing as a human being into a demon. Now, I know he didn't say that, but that's what I believe.
What did you think about this guy? What was going through your mind as to who you were sitting next to, who was doing all these things?
A bizarre individual, someone that was very confused at this time.
Now, there came a time when you went to the washroom again?
Right, I suggested, because he had started getting aggressive a little bit again. I suggested to go to the bathroom. He let me stay in there by myself while he stayed outside the door at that time.
And what happened then?
And then I told him, I was contemplating, I was asking God, shall I make my move now? And I was going to just jump out the window. But when I got out, for some reason, I asked, could I have another beer? Yeah.
And what did he do?
And he reaches over, he guides me over and reaches in and get a beer.
He still got you on the cuff?
Yeah. And then he tells me, I told him I want to sit in the front because it's an air conditioner. I was just going to try to jump out the window or go for the door or whatever. And because the back bedroom didn't have an air conditioner, only in the front. So I suggested we sit on the couch. I had unbuttoned my shirt to try to make him feel more at ease. And then I just sat on the couch and he just started going out of himself again. Yeah.
Going out of himself?
Yeah, he was paying me no attention at that time.
Like he wasn't there?
He started the chanting again, and it's just sitting there, And then I just, for some reason, I said, I need to go to the bathroom again, and he didn't follow me at that point. So I reached up, I got up, and then I hit him, and I ran out.
Thank God that Tracy Edwards survived, because Dahmer has said that he would have killed again and again and again. He never denied that he wasn't going to stop killing. I also believe that Jeffrey Dahmer was possessed, maybe not by Legion himself, but I'm sure there was more than one demon inside of Jeffrey Dahmer. To feel so overwhelmingly alone to the point where you would kill somebody so that they would stay with you, to the point where he would eat pieces of his victims so that they would be with him forever. I believe that when Dahmer allowed the first demon in, and they were working together to feed both of their needs, a whole bunch of other demons started coming either into the house or into him and relishing on it. And they were feasting on all the fear that was in that apartment. Don't forget to subscribe to The Demon Inside on Spotify, Anchor, or any other podcast directory, or through our website, anchor.fm/The Demon Inside. A new episode of The Demon Inside comes out each Monday. Let us know what you think and join the conversation on our Demon Inside Facebook page and on Instagram. We thank you for listening and hope you'll join me next Monday for a new Demon Inside. If you enjoyed this episode, tell your friends. I'm John Venom. We'll see you next time, if I don't get possessed. The Demon Inside was created and written by James Porter. It's a production of Venomous Entertainment. Theme music, Demon Inside, is on the album Conjure One by Reese Fulber. Background music was created by Lucas King.